I looked not in the paper. I looked online one day, and I didn't even think Mandy was coming to theaters, but it was coming to theaters. I was like, oh well, all right, I know what I'm doing tonight. So I went and saw it. There's probably 20 people in the theater, and it was just such a sensory blasting experience.
Yeah.
And just watching him fully commit and be this chainsaw fighting action hero, I think it's beautiful. And David Cross of the Award Winners Movie Podcast, also he does this show. He sent me a message like, I think every day I think about Mandy, that movie. And I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, I'm doing Red from Mandy as my number 3.
Cool. Oh, number 3. We're counting back.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's my number 1.
Oh, wait, you go
fine.
back and I'll
Listen,
go. Wait, you go Wait.
This is chaos. This is
Yep.
pure Nick chaos.
Yeah.
It's pure Nick chaos.
Yeah.
So I'll do my number 2 right in the middle. 1, 2, 3. Number 2 is actually thank you, Andy, from Facebook, from the Movies, Films and Flicks Facebook group page thing, for reminding me, because I forgot about this amazing Martin Scorsese, Nicolas Cage movie from 1999, Bringing Out the Dead. I love that movie. That is actually probably the Nick Cage movie that I've seen the most. Like, I used to, when I discovered Bringing Out the Dead, I think it was around, it was like, when I finished school, so it was somewhere in the 2000s. I discovered this movie, and it became one of those movies that I would just sit on and watch. I would pop in the DVD whenever, every second day. That's what it felt like. It was not like that, but I don't know. I love this movie. Nick and Patricia Arquette, they worked so well for me. Like, I just loved their whole vibe. There was just a vibe to this. And yeah, just like Nick, playing this Frank Pierce, trying to do his thing, and dealing with the ghosts on the streets and all these colorful characters. I think that's probably the best way to describe all the characters in this movie. Oh, I don't know. I love this movie.
He wears that so well on his shoulders too. Just he can play this man collapsing, being disheartened and haunted so well. But you know what I like about that movie? You feel that weight on his shoulders, and I think rarely do you ever feel that on somebody.
It's another example of Nicolas Cage actually acting damn well. He was very good in that. The exhaustion and, like you say, carrying that weight on his shoulders, I mean, you could feel it. He was sharing it with the character, and that's what you're supposed to do in a movie, and relate with the main character. I thought it was very good. I love Bringing Out the Dead. Great movie.
Trippy movie,
yeah.
Not what people were expecting. I don't think it was what people were expecting. It's such an interesting team up of Scorsese and Cage, because when you think about Scorsese's muses, De Niro and DiCaprio, they have such a different vibe from Cage. And I admire this step out of there. It was so different than what I thought was going to happen. I dug it.
Yeah, no, I think, it might be my favorite Martin Scorsese movie, actually, because it's so different. I love it.
So I guess my number 2 is Charlie Kaufman and Donald Kaufman, an adaptation.
Yes, just so good.
At the end when they're in the swamps and just their stupid conversation. So I think that adaptation came out in 2004. I want to say, I think it was 2004. Yeah, 2002. So this was during a time for me when I graduated from high school in 2001. And I remember loving Royal Tenenbaums. So I'd always loved art house films, and I'd always loved kind of weirdo cinema. But I remember in 2001 is when I kind of just watched Royal Tenenbaums. I was the only one laughing in the theater during the tennis scene, just laughing. And then watching adaptation at the end when they're just the stupid twist at the end, and I'm just laughing, right? Yeah, good alligator scene in that, by the way. Hey. But just laugh, and the screenwriting and just seeing that scene, and I felt like I got it. And I think for a 19-year-old who is a burgeoning film snob, not snob, but movie lover, when you realize sometimes that you got a movie, you got the tone, and you're relatively young, it's a good feeling. And
Yeah.
I remember loving Chris Cooper, Meryl Streep, and Nick Cage, with the two characters, the two kind of sad sacks. Just
Yeah.
beautiful. It's such a beautiful role. And I love that he was nominated for an Oscar because it's just him on there, and it's so good. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, what a great movie. I agree. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
So
What's your
good.
number three?
Okay, so yeah, like I mean, I love so many of Nick's movies. So just before I like say number three, just shout out to like his work in Colorado Space. I'm so glad you and John Levengood is going to do an episode on that because that was a great movie too. And that was just like good old bonkers, Nick. Like I love that.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that movie. And some great moments in there. Yeah, that's a trippy nightmare. One trippy nightmare. Love Colorado Space. I loved him as Spider-Man Noir in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So great. Like, what a hoot. I love that he did that too. That's just, yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, like, I mean, I can't not put like Robin from Pig in my top three. I mean, yeah, I don't think we can say he needs to be nominated for an award and not add his performance here because, gosh, it's like, talk about memorable, talk about a performance you will never forget. A haunting performance. And that's not easy. Like actors can play other people, they can transform physically, they can like alter their voices, they can talk in accents, they can like do a lot of things. But giving a haunting performance where like yeah, the audiences are haunted by by you and what you did on that screen. And Nick freaking did that. Like, if anyone listening and haven't seen Pig yet, do yourself a favor and go watch Pig. What a fantastic, fantastic movie, just all around. Everything about it. Everything about that movie was, oy,
And he's not
chef's kiss.
hiding.
Chef's kiss.
He's not mimicking anybody. He's not playing Lucille Ball. Well,
Nah,
that's a random example. But he's not drenched under prosthetics. He didn't.
no.
It's just him. It's him, his face, his emotions, getting those emotions from people, and that's my favorite kind of performance. I think
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Oh man, makes me
And he
happy.
plays such a sad, wise character. Like, I love that. I just love that. I think that's why, like, I feel like is Nick becoming that, the highly respected elder where everyone bow down when he walks into the room, highly respected, knows everything. Because yeah, I mean, look at what he's doing.
So
Yeah,
good. Oh, this is it. Last one we're gonna talk about.
go for it.
Okay, so H.I. McDonough, Raising Arizona.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, like Cage
Fantastic.
called him a living cartoon, and he rubbed his hair a lot, so he looked like Woody Woodpecker. He was always messing up his hair, and he was with John Goodman, like, and then bringing out the dead. But
Yeah,
he and Holly Hunter in this movie are just perfection. I love the physicality of the role. I love how fast he talks. I love how quick H.I. is. I love the earnestness of the character. He's just, I think it's a perfect role with him
it's
in
so
it.
entertaining.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I love it. I love how committed it is. And he butted heads with the Coen brothers because they wanted it a certain way. And he's like, why hire me if you want things a certain way? So he wasn't the best team player there. But I do just, and he kind of admitted, like, he's like, yeah, I probably could have trusted it a little bit. But I just love the performance. It's one of my favorite movies. Just every character, like Norbert and I talked about on the podcast. And I think I love it more now. It's just such a, it just makes me happy. It's a silly movie.
Yeah,
It's
but
it's
it's fun and entertaining and yeah, it's a
I got
good
a
one.
I got a whole list of people who so I figured we would just get a few, but I got a ton of people telling me their favorite movies. I'll
We
read
should
them
have
real quick.
known.
Yeah, and I'll read it real quick so we won't spend too much time. But Andy Golding, he said Raising Arizona adaptation, and he said either Bringing Out the Dead or Red Rock West, but he went with Red Rock West. So he matched up with two of my three, which is awesome. Ryan Groff said, "Why has no one mentioned Willy's Wonderland?" So he said it's utter perfection.
Correct.
And then,
Correct.
and then Lisa Leahy, she said she wanted to class up the joint, do Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds, and Face Off. Randy B said Kiss of Death, Bad Lieutenant, where he stares at an iguana. It's beautiful. An adaptation. Mark S did adaptation, Matchstick Men, and Bad Lieutenant. John Weidler, Johnny Num, said adaptation, Matchstick Men, Mandy. Aaron Newworth said Raising Arizona, The Rock, and adaptation. My mom commented, which is awesome. She said Matchstick Men, Raising Arizona, and Leaving Las Vegas. Vera wrote Vampire's Kiss, Moonstruck adaptation. John A said Face Off, Family Man Knowing. Keith Arroyo said Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, Mandy, and The Rock. Dan A said Pig, Wild at Heart, and Con Air. James Foley, Face Off, Lord of War, Raising Arizona. And then Ryan Groff added in 8 millimeters? Yeah. And Snake Eyes. And then on Twitter, I got a bunch of comments too, which is pretty awesome. I had a bunch of people commenting here. So people told...
I just want to say, like, I love hearing The Rock because that's, I think, like, will always be like a little, not a guilty pleasure watch, but like, I don't know, always fun. It's just like weird because I don't know, the last time I watched it, I was kind of sad because it made me remember the time when, you know, like conspiracy theories were all whimsical and we had so much fun with them. And like now it's so tainted and it was kind of sad watching The Rock again, but still fun and still good.
I got a Cracked article out of that because I wrote about Bokeem Woodbine in the background acting.
Oh, okay. Right.
That makes me happy. So I always love The Rock.
Nice.
So Recasted podcast had The Rock, National Treasure, Gone in 60 Seconds. Then we had B-Movie Enema wrote Mandy, Leaving Las Vegas, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Wes Richard said Raising Arizona adaptation, The Rock. Good Times, Great Movies wrote Wild at Heart, Pig, and Vampire's Kiss. Justin Gott wrote adaptation, Matchstick Men, and The Rock, Con Air, Face Off. He said that's one movie. Isaac's Haunted Beard then wrote Vampire's Kiss, Raising Arizona, and Bringing Out the Dead. So there's definitely a theme with the movies, but I'm very happy that like, the movies we like got a lot of mentions. It was nice to see Wild Heart, Pig, Vampire's Kiss. I mean, adaptation,
Matchstick Men too. Yeah.
What a performance. And just, yeah, I mean, I think I ask, I do a lot of these podcasts and I ask people on social media for their favorite performances and I rarely get this many. So Nick Cage clearly has struck a chord with many different people.
Totally. And like Nick is a very popular guy, actually. I mean, everybody knows who Nicolas Cage is. Like, he's pretty popular for an actor.
He's the best.
He's amazing. We love him.
So we'll finish. Right. So I guess should we finish on our data?
Yeah, maybe. Oh gosh.
I don't think I have anything left to say other than I liked last time when we finished talking about data. But like I want to say this was the hardest post I've ever done, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm this will always have a special place in my heart because I finished it and the graphic that Megan made because I think it's really funny and it makes me happy. But yeah.
The graphic is so cute. I'm actually looking at the graphic right now. It's the one on the article, right?
Yeah.
In the article. Yeah, I mean, this is such a beautiful graphic, Meg. I love it. Yeah, there's the bee maze. Yeah, no, it's great. It's like, I think you did pretty well with it. Like when I read it the first time, I was expecting this long answer and this elaborate, and it was like, okay, no, so I figured it out and this is what it looks like and this is how far he ran. And I was like, okay, is that it? But then I'm like, well, actually, because how did you figure this out? That was just impressive. I love that you noticed like especially when he was like when he first like got to the beehive stuff, like how you